Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the MediaBooks podcast and this month's How I Market. This month I talk with Misa Bacon. She is the founder and CEO of Perfectly Kept Books, and she is your go-to bookkeeping and QuickBooks pro. She is on a mission to help women entrepreneurs feel confident and in control of their finances. Recognizing that bookkeeping can be daunting, she creates a calming, fun experience that feels like chatting with a supportive friend. Her Texas warmth shines. Her Texas wins through making complex financial discussions approachable and stress-free. Driven by a desire to raise her creative daughter in a world of empowered women, Misa champions women-owned businesses, providing empowering bookkeeping services and building strong financial foundations for their success. When she's not crunching numbers, she loves hanging out with her family, getting lost in a good book, enjoying a movie, jamming to music, or simply relaxing at home. Okay, so thanks so much for joining me, Misa. We just had that great bio, learning a little bit about your background, but I'd love kind of just in your own words, tell me a little bit more about you. I don't know, the fun stuff that we maybe don't include in our in our bio.
So my name is Misa, and I'm the owner and founder and CEO of Perfectly Kept Books. And the only reason that I even started a business is because corporate didn't work out for me. So I started my career working in corporate. I was working, just working at a company in the accounting department. Everything was lovely,
Yeah.
but I got to a point where I kind of reached a ceiling, and I realized I'm not going to go any further. So that's kind of what kicked off my journey to starting a business. And it all made sense to do something within the accounting world
Yeah.
because I like accounting. I've always been a numbers person. Math is my favorite subject. Give me some numbers and I'm happy. So it all worked out that, bookkeeping, like it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm really good at it. That's
Right.
also what I discovered.
Yeah.
I'm really like I enjoy it. I like it, and I think that's the most important piece is that nobody really likes it. Most people don't like it, especially most business owners.
Yeah.
But even accountants, like not all accountants like bookkeeping, but I
That's
actually love it. I enjoy it. It like
yeah.
I just have so much fun with it, and I figure who better to help small businesses than someone who actually enjoys doing it every day. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, this podcast is all about kind of getting to know how you have this like love of accounting and this great skill for numbers. And then you have to transition into like marketing when you own a business. What were those like, okay, you've decided to start a business. Now what? Like, did you even consider marketing? Were you like, well, I just need to have an email?
What Well, in the beginning, so if we go back, in the beginning, I was more concerned with just how can I find a client?
Hmm.
Just like I wasn't even thinking about marketing in the traditional sense of I need to market my business, that type of thing. It was just like I need to find a client. I need to like see if someone is going to trust me to do this work and be able to say, "Oh, I actually like someone is paying me.
Yeah.
Someone is paying me to do their books." And that was like my main goal. And I actually found my first client on Upwork.
Hmm.
So that's how I found my first client. It wasn't really marketing. It was me spending time putting in proposals and hoping that someone says yes.
Yeah.
That's really what it took. And I think that's probably the hardest part is finding that first client because once you find the first one, it's kind of easier to get the next one and the next one because fast forward now,
Hmm.
I'm like I'm not taking on any monthly clients at the moment because I'm like I am at
You're good.
capacity. Like, like, but people still come my way. People refer to me. It's like I really don't have to market too hard
Yeah.
in a sense, just because it's like I've proven the concept.
Right.
I've done the work, and people are like, hey, if you need a good bookkeeper, go here. And so they do some of the marketing for me.
Yeah.
But I do still market, so I'm still out there doing things. But I think it's getting that first client is really the hard part, and I mean, there's different ways to get a first client. It's just like someone has to say yes.
Yeah.
That's and that's the hard part is how can you sell someone on your services when you don't really have anything to back you up yet. It's
Yeah.
it's like I have the experience and the knowledge, but you kind of want to take a chance. And so I appreciate especially all of my early clients who are still clients today for saying yes and taking that chance because that's what I needed to kind of build my confidence a little bit and know that I can actually do this. And now it's a completely different story.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? Well, I wish, no, I don't wish. I was going to say, thinking about that first sales call that I had, I know it was so cringy. Obviously, the other person that, or the first client that I landed, I wouldn't say first sales call, but I'm sure it was so cringy because like now my sales call is all based on like, this is the process that I've done 100 times. These are the past
Hmm.
experiences. And when it's like day one, it's like, and so many things working against you.
Yes,
But yeah, now so take us from like, I mean, I got started on Upwork as well. It's not what it used to be.
it's not.
Yeah.
Nothing is what it used to be. So,
Exactly. Exactly. I thought Upwork's fantastic for like finding, well, it's a great, they're great. But it's a difficult place to grow your business. So like after you get that first
hmm.
client on Upwork, how did you move into marketing or when did you start considering marketing?
Oh, I'm trying to. Okay, so a little bit about me. I am a researcher by nature. So that's like what I'm always doing is trying to research and figure out, okay, what do I need to do? How do I need to market? What should I try? So, of course, social media was one of the first things that I did because, I mean, I like social media. I like social media,
Yeah.
for what it is. But I mean, I did realize that it could be very overwhelming to try to keep up with everything. But
Hmm.
I was present. So I'm like, I was present on social media. But then also understanding kind of like what I like.
Hmm.
Because I'm like, if I like it, then other people will probably in turn like it as well. So I kind of shifted, like, I still have social media. Like, I'm not really on there. I'm
Yeah.
on there, but I'm not on, like, I use templates. Like,
Yeah.
I show up every now and then. It's really just to keep it active
Hmm.
because in my mind, I'm always thinking about if someone goes to look for you or they're searching, what's going to pop up? And if
Yeah.
they go to your social media and they see you haven't posted in a year, they're probably like, oh, maybe they're not in business. So the whole goal is just to be found and be seen.
Hmm.
And but I really put a lot of focus onto my email list and like blog posts and things where I can share, all of my thoughts and my perspectives and things that you don't see on social media. You don't see unless you actually probably talk to me
Yeah.
because when I talk to people, I tell them the truth. Like I give it to them straight. I'm just, in the sweetest way possible.
Yeah.
It's never because that's also something I hear a lot from business owners is, when they have to talk to someone in the accounting industry, it can be a tough conversation just because it's not very pleasant and
Yeah.
it's usually them being talked someone talking at them and not really trying to understand what are they do like what's happening, what's going on, like how can I actually help you?
Yeah.
And so that's just how I approach everything anyways. Have a little bit of compassion and a little bit of care and concern because I do care. Like I really do want you to succeed.
Yeah.
And so just taking the time to, share my thoughts and my knowledge and putting it out there because one thing that I have realized is that a lot of people don't know what I think they would know.
Yeah.
It's like, you know this, right? And no, they
Yeah.
don't. And so
No.
I'm like, okay, let me make sure I'm sharing that message. And
Hmm.
a lot of times it's just sharing the same message over and over.
Yeah.
And that's also something that I have to work on with my marketing because that's what marketing is
Yeah.
you're sharing your message over and over. And sometimes I'm like, I'll say something and I'm like, okay, I said it, but I need to keep saying it because sometimes it might not click the first time. So,
Right. Right.
so yes, now that's kind of where I kind of shift my focus. And now, am I doing everything right, or I don't know. I'm just doing what I want to do and what makes me feel happy. So I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
Something's working.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, marketing is so creative. I believe there's enough flexibility to make it work for you.
Hmm.
And like so you mentioned a few things in there. One that accountants don't really have. Let me rephrase. We're not really taught soft skills. And so you
Hmm.
either need to come to the table with soft skills or maybe have a few bad experiences with clients before you're like, something's off.
Hmm.
And I mean, with such a sensitive subject like finances, you get the 150, do those extra credits, make it like soft skills classes. Like that's what it should be. But yeah, I digress there. Oh shoot. And then you mentioned something else. I forgot.
You know what I will say though? One of my first jobs was working in customer support.
Okay.
So like I worked in a call center
Yeah.
for the company that I worked for like 10 years. When I started there, I worked in customer support. So I was literally on the phone.
Yeah.
I was the person on the phone calling people, talking to people, helping them.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of helped me because I like still to this day, like that's where I learned how to write an email, like
Yeah.
write a professional email. So it's things that I picked up then that I think I've probably carried with me until now.
Yeah.
And I know like most people don't start, my very first job was working at the movies. Like most people don't start, those
Hmm.
type of jobs. And so
Exactly.
I have experience working with people and just it just makes a difference like when you can give someone just like that good experience because I
Hmm.
always think about myself on the other side.
Yeah.
Like how do I feel, how do I want to feel, how do I, what do I want to experience? So that's what I take with me.
Yeah.
And I mean it's worked.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of okay, so you have these soft skills and you have this great background where you build up all these skills. And I mean, active listening too. Like I imagine with call centers, there's times where I'm talking to someone, I'm like, I need to say this slowly because I'm sure they're not listening. And this is it's a simple issue, but I think it's complex.
hmm
But yeah, active listening, all those things help you sell. But when it comes to the marketing, there was one reason I specifically also wanted to reach out to you. And that was because you posted a while back about Pinterest. And I don't, I use Pinterest occasionally. I definitely was heavy on it back in like, I don't know, college a while back. I won't say when. But like, why, how'd you find Pinterest? Give me the Pinterest journey. I have so many questions around Pinterest.
so okay, so something that I've realized and something I always try to think about is like where are places that I can show up that like clients might be
Yeah.
that accountants and bookkeepers probably typically aren't.
Mm,
I usually think about. And so you think about Pinterest, you're like,
yeah.
like an accountant, a bookkeeper, that doesn't really make sense. But like when I like, because I do my research and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, Pinterest is just a good way to kind of push people to your website. And so that's all I was thinking of is I have all these blogs and I'm like, how can I share them?
Yeah.
Because I literally have hundreds of blog posts and they're just sitting there on my website. I need somewhere to put them and share them. And other than social media, where can I share them? I'm like, Pinterest.
Yeah.
And especially when I learned that Pinterest has it's like a longer cycle compared to social media where you can post something today and no one, like, half the people don't see it, it disappears and it's just in la la land.
Yeah.
But on Pinterest, things can last a little longer. So you could post something today, somebody could come across it a year from now,
Yeah.
and even though it's a year from now, you didn't do anything special, you didn't do anything new. It was already there. You put it out, and it's just kind of lingering. So
Mm,
it's like a different type of experience compared to social media. So I
yeah.
was just interested to see like, well, maybe let me try this. And now I did fall off a little bit because it can be a lot. That's the thing. A lot of these it's a lot to keep up with all of these things,
Yeah.
especially if you don't have someone doing it for you. And so, but even when I like go and look at like I guess my analytics and things, I don't always look at that. But anyway, so when I go look at it, I go to see like are people clicking on it and saving things and
Right.
and people are. And I'm like, okay, now if I really put some effort in,
Yeah.
I could probably see some kind of return because I guess I should probably track it. But I'm always curious when someone like signs up for my email list or downloads my freebie.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, I'm not really sure where they came from because, again, I'm not 100% track. I probably should, but
No.
I'm not 100% tracking.
Yeah.
And and so I just think about, well, what are the different touch points where people can find me? And I'm like, Pinterest is one of those.
Yeah.
And when I go and look and I see people are saving things, people are liking things, people are clicking on the links, I'm like, okay. So let me just make sure I'm find making it to where people can find me
Yeah.
and putting the information out there, especially if I think it's something that, people will want to read or see, they'll click on it. And then if they click on that, then maybe, okay, maybe they will download my, checklist and then they can get on my email list and then now they're getting all my emails. So I always think of it as like the long-term cycle
Yeah.
because not everyone's just going to find me. Now, some people do find me by Googling. So that that is also a thing, but that's really just making sure I can be found
Yeah.
wherever, just making sure you can find me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing that I think is so difficult. It's like there's so many places people can find you. You really do
Hmm.
have to like narrow it down. And I mean, when you consider all the different analytics in your business, um, I create a marketing podcast and content for accountants. There's a million other I'm sorry, I'm not accounting, marketing podcasts and resources out there, but a lot of them are so like, look into the back end of your Google Analytics and click on the,
Yeah.
4-month conversion rate and then divide it. And you don't have time for that. Like,
I'm like, I can do all that.
yeah, exactly. And it's like that is for like the Pinterest CMO to like listen to. For like us, where it's
Hmm.
like we can't be tracking every single analytic. I need like high level, is this working or is it not?
Hmm.
And so that's, I mean, that's the thing. I'm like, you don't have to track every single analytic, but you should know like the important ones, like those,
Yeah.
high level.
Yeah.
But Pinterest is so fantastic because I mean, like you said, this is what kind of got me really interested in Pinterest is that it's a really easy way to A/B test, or if you're unfamiliar with that term, it's where you basically have like a blog post, but you'll try like two different pictures. And so it's a really great way to A/B test content, and you can quickly
Hmm.
post. And so one, I know that's kind of like one part of the strategy is like posting on Pinterest. You have a pin, you have a link, you maybe add a description. Do you just like post it and you're done, or like how much upkeep is there on Pinterest versus something like Instagram, which I consider very high maintenance?
Well, that is the thing. So now with Pinterest, ideally, I think they want you to do like multiple pins a day or a week or whatever it is. But
Hmm.
the main thing is to be consistent.
Yeah,
So it's literally you post a pin and that's it. You don't have to, go do something else. It's like you posted the pin, and then the interesting thing is too is like you can reuse links. So like from all of my research, they're like try to wait a week before you repost the same link, but you could literally take like say you have a set of blog posts,
yeah,
post pins for all those blogs for a week, then the next week post pins for all those same blogs, but just change the picture, change the headline, and
yeah,
it's like literally just taking all the same link and the same information but tweaking it
yeah,
to just change the heading or change the picture, and it it's actually it's more simple
yeah,
compared to like something like Instagram and Facebook, but it does you do need a little bit of volume,
yeah.
like to really really see some things happening. You would need volume,
Hmm.
but even the little bit that I've done, like people are seeing it,
Yeah,
and some of this is stuff that I posted months ago,
right.
like months and months ago, and I'm like, oh, I did post that. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And that's the thing, because people aren't scrolling back on your Instagram.
right.
Most of the time people aren't going to say, oh, I like this post, let me go to the page and scroll back 3-4 months. No, they'll see what's in the immediate feed, and that's it.
Hmm.
But with Pinterest, who knows when they're going to come across it?
Right.
They'll come across it someday, and it was something I posted 6 months ago, but I'm like, that works for me because now I just got new eyes on something, and now they get to go to my website. They
Yeah,
read the blog. They read other blogs. They sign up for my email. So then now I have new people, and I didn't do any extra work.
yeah,
It took work up front, but after that, I'm done.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of the thing that I think is so appealing to people right now is because LinkedIn, Facebook, and like you can create something and there gets no likes, no engagement. You have like this 24-hour if period. And like it gets no engagement. It's like it takes all the fun out of the creativity. You at least want like someone to at least your
Hmm.
mom, to like it or something. Like even there's times where my
Yeah.
mom's like, "Oh, it didn't show up in my feed." I was like, "Really?" Like,
Yep.
oh, that's not good. But yeah, so that I think is a major, I mean, selling point with Pinterest. The shelf life is much longer than I
Hmm.
think any other common social media platform.
Yep.
But you mentioned blogging and then your newsletter. Tell me about that. Tell me about like kind of you don't have to go like deep into your marketing strategy, but what's that
Hmm.
like for you?
Well, so one, I will say that I do have a copywriter
Okay.
because I was struggling. I'm not a natural writer,
Hmm.
so I was struggling trying to like actually do the writing, write the email, write the blog. So I have had a copywriter helping me, but I have a lot of ideas. That's the thing. it is crazy the amount of ideas I have. Like
Yeah.
conversations I have with people, reading something, seeing so many ideas. And so I needed help translating those ideas into a piece of writing. And so that's what I do.
Yeah.
So every week I send out, and it's usually, I don't have like a specific schedule I'm just like, this is what I want to say,
Okay.
and we're going to just put it out there because it's, it's helpful information either way.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm not sitting here just selling stuff all day. I'm really actually providing, insights into like what I'm doing or what I see happening
Yeah.
or just my opinion on stuff because I think the thing about an email list or a blog is that's where you can really kind of shine because you can put your spin on stuff and share your perspective and you see all the stuff on social media and it can be a lot
Yeah.
like because it's very loud. Like there's just so much going on, but if you can kind of get people's attention like you're in their inbox or they're sitting there reading your blog and so they're all their attention is on you and then you can just sit there and say whatever it is you want them to hear. And I think it's really fun for me because I get to share all of, all the good stuff
Yeah.
that I feel like I want to share. And I mean, it's cool for me.
Yeah.
And the feedback that I get on my email list is like people have said they're like, "Thank you for like the valuable information. It's very helpful." And people typically like the people who are engaged on my email list, they open my emails. They
Hmm.
open them, they read them, and they stay. And also at some point they're going to convert into something. And
Yeah.
that has happened too. It's like understanding it's going to be it might not be tomorrow, but at some point
Yeah.
someone will reach out and they'll be like, "Hey, I've been on your email list or I've been reading your blog or following you." And then they come back around. And
Yeah.
I always keep that in mind too is that when you think about it's a long-term
Hmm.
plan. It's not something that I'm not expecting just, a ton of people to just, "Oh, they saw my email today and they're going to call me tomorrow."
Yeah.
No, it might be some months or even some years
Yeah.
because sometimes that's what it takes to even convert a client. Like that's just what it takes. So I'm just making sure at a minimum, actually my current copywriter, she mentioned because I was like, I don't really have a strategy, and she was like, well, being consistent is a strategy.
Yeah.
And when I say I have sent an email every week to my email list for the past a little over a year now, the
Okay.
past year,
Nice.
for the whole year. Like every week they're getting an email, and I think that's really really cool for me to see
Yeah.
because we think about when tax season comes around, usually we stop marketing. Just
Yeah.
we stop. And if nothing else, I want to be able to still reach out to people, still give them information, nudge them on reminders and just tell them, hey, this is what's going on. Just to kind of,
Yeah.
keep them engaged, but also keep them, I want to be top of mind,
Yeah.
like always. So that's something that I find fun
Yeah.
and I like to do. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good impression to like you're able to maintain your processes even when things are busy. It's a very
Hmm.
subtle cue. With your copywriter, tell me I, there's some people that have a little, intimidation isn't the right. There's apprehension on like hiring someone to do your writing or do your marketing, because like, oh, what if they don't get me, or what if they post something wrong, or how do you make sure that like your copywriter is getting your tone of voice?
So, okay, so this is my second copywriter. The first one that I worked with, she actually reached out to me. So, like she found me and it was wonderful and like it was a wonderful relationship. And it like she learned me, so she kind of after conversations, meeting, discussing ideas and content, we learn each other. So
Yeah.
like I learned how she likes to write and it's really a collaboration between the two. But then also like I review everything.
Yeah.
It's not I have a copywriter and they go write and then I don't see anything. No, they come back to me. I get to review it. I get to provide my feedback. I get to say, maybe say it like this or
Yeah.
that doesn't really sound like me. So I have the final say at the end of the day, which is I think that's what a lot of people just need, that final kind of check
Mhm.
mark to say, okay, this is good. And I will say, like, a good writer will pick up on that. Like, they'll pick up on you, like, they'll learn you, they'll pick up on, like, how you talk, how you like to do things, how you like to present things, and then they'll be able to run with it. That's what I said, and that's why I say a good copywriter, because I love writers. Like I am envious. I'm like I want to be able to write well like some of these people out here. And a good writer will be able to take all the information that you're giving them and then turn around and spit out some beautiful writing that you love. Like I literally read stuff and I'm like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
that was great." Because I literally just like I spit out all my ideas. It's crazy. I'm like, "Ooh, well I have this idea and then this and then I'm telling stories and then they can take all of that and then they can turn it into a beautiful email and blog." And I'm like, "Ah, that's perfect." I didn't see it in my head, but someone who they see things a little bit differently,
Yeah.
obviously, because they're writing. So I think that's I wasn't 100% now. Of course, no one wants to spend money,
Yeah.
but I'm also thinking if I want to be consistent, this is probably the only way that I can be consistent. I I'm spending too much time trying to do it on my own or figure it out, but I can just hire someone else who does it so they can just do it easily, just like they're hiring me.
Yeah.
They're hiring me to do the bookkeeping because I can do it easily and take it off their plate, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think like in the accounting industry, I don't think we appreciate that enough. Like we tell clients to like outsource your bookkeeping and your accounting and all of that, but then we don't do it for things within our own business.
Yeah.
Like marketing is probably one of those things we need to hand off because most of us are probably not the best marketing people. I love it. I enjoy it. I like to be creative, but I also don't have the time for it. I don't
Right.
have the time to sit here and write blogs and emails all day. I don't have the time. But if you allow someone else to do it, you can see the return because although I'm paying someone to do that, my numbers reflect that something is working.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like whether it's accounting or marketing, if you want to like build a website or you want to do your books or file like a corporate tax return, you can do that just with the information on the internet. It's all there. It'll tell you how to do it.
Mhm.
But my gosh, do you know how long it's going to take to file like a court,
Mhm.
like do a year's worth of books and then and do that whole that and it's going to be the same thing with anything with
Mhm.
writing a contract. My gosh, you can
Yeah.
research it to death and you can get it right, but it'll take you forever. Um,
Yes.
and so like, yeah, it's sometimes hard to like make that mental switch of like, what is my time actually worth? Um,
Mhm.
do I really want to be working till 1 a.m.? I don't know. A lot of us are like,
Exactly.
yeah, I can do it. And then like you're doing that for like 10 nights in a row. And it's like, oh,
Yeah, yeah. When I was sitting there struggling trying to write a blog post, I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna need some, I'm gonna need some help."
oh yeah. So, okay. So with the blog content, I have a question about that. There's the whole debate of is SEO dead? Is blogging dead? You're doing a lot of blogs. Why, do you, what part does it play in your marketing strategy?
Well, so I do share them with my email list,
Okay.
so they automatically will
Yeah.
get a link to read them, and then that's also what I was sharing on Pinterest as far as if what am I like.
Yeah.
How can I share these? I mean, they also just live on my website.
Yeah.
Sometimes things don't get shared, but they're there
Hmm.
because I also think about if someone comes to my website, I think about how do I navigate websites,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I think about. If I come to someone's website, I'm going to be researching. I'm going to be deep diving. I'm going to click on their blog. I'm going to click on their resources,
Yeah.
and so even just having a place for someone to go and they start reading things and they're like, oh, okay, maybe this person is someone I need to talk to, or maybe I need to check out their resources and see what they have, what are they offering.
Yeah.
And so that's just what I look at it as. It's just it's like a touch point.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, how they come across my blog, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows how they might come across it. There's many ways that they could come across it, but having it there, it makes it for me. I feel like it makes a difference because I am sharing information, and that's one thing I'm not afraid to do is I will share all day long. I will tell you everything. I can give you all the secrets and tell you everything
Hmm.
because I also know that just because I told you doesn't mean you can do it
Yeah.
or that you'll follow through and do it. So
Yeah.
just having a place where people even if they feel like, well, you gave me the information to point me in the right direction, or oh, now I have questions and now I need to follow up. So that's kind of how I think about the blog. It's just giving someone like a starting place or even just pointing them in the right direction.
Yeah. Yeah. Most stuff. And I think, like when you have, your email campaigns and Pinterest, there's so many opportunities where it's like someone asks you a question, you're like, oh, I wish I had something like I could just send you a blog post because this is going to be a very long
Hmm.
explanation. But if I send you a blog post, it shows like I've already thought your question through. It's a normal question. You don't have to worry about that. And I have a solution for you. It's also
Hmm.
just like a great tool for like selling. Aside from just like the marketing and additional touch points, it's
Yep.
like it's a little tool in your toolbox that you can always just bring
Yep.
out. And for the most part, they
Exactly.
don't expire. I mean, sometimes they, subjects are,
Yeah.
yeah, most of the time with accounting, it doesn't, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. It's going to be the same no matter what. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Awesome, awesome. Well, do you have any advice to accountants who are maybe feeling a little intimidated? Final words.
Well, I will actually, because I want to add something. So,
Mm,
outside of just those kind of like what people traditionally think about marketing, especially
yeah.
as an accountant or bookkeeper, something that I actually started doing is like podcast guesting. So,
Mm,
getting on podcasts and talking. And even going a step further is going to events in person, actually just going to like a like a business or a networking event and showing up,
yeah,
because what I have realized is, one, most accountants and bookkeepers are not doing podcasts. Most of them aren't. The ones that are they're usually selling, like there's probably something they're trying to sell
yeah,
that's like, it's a program, or
yeah.
that's usually what they're selling. And then when I go to like networking events, I'm usually the only bookkeeper in the room.
Mm,
All the events I have gone to, I have been the only bookkeeper in the room. So, I'm passing out cards, and both scenarios, whether it's a podcast or an event, it always results in someone reaching out.
yeah,
Like someone actually reaching out and paying for service. Like it's not even a, hey, oh, it was nice to meet you. It's a, hey, okay, I need your service. How can you help me? Which service is best for me? And someone who's actually ready and willing to pay,
yeah,
because they all need it.
yeah,
It's like they're like, wait, you're a bookkeeper? Oh, hold on.
yeah,
Like, we need to talk. Let me get your information.
yeah,
And it always translates into a set, like it's an automatic sale.
yeah,
And I think for me, what's been really interesting to see is that it's just like one interaction, but they'll hear me talk about, hear how I talk about things and explain things. And I think for a lot of people, having kind of like that, it's like a direct connection a little
hmm,
bit. So it's not, you're not reading something, but it's more so you're literally directly connecting with these people,
yeah,
and they hear it and see you in person, or even just hear you on a podcast, and they're like, ah, I related to that. And because I've gotten clients that way.
mm,
I literally had a client that they heard me on the podcast, and they were like, oh, they were like, I heard you. They were like, I was ready to sign up already. Like I didn't need to hear anything. Like they were like, oh yeah, everything you said was wonderful. That's all I needed to hear.
yeah,
And for me, I was like, because I mean, I do like to talk. When I want to, especially when I'm talking about bookkeeping, is I talk all day.
yeah,
So I realized that it's easier for me to talk, just sit here and talk to people about things,
hmm,
even more so than like trying to put together a blog post or an email. I can sit here and talk because I think part of the reason I have so much content is also because I talk to so many people.
yeah,
And every time I talk to someone, I'm like, ooh, that's a good piece of content, or ooh, that's, and just sitting there answering questions. And
yeah,
that's something that I realize is people just want their questions answered.
yeah,
And so when I show up to, a podcast or show up to an event and I'm answering those questions, and they're like, "Oh, I have a person now. I have like I know
right,
someone that I can go to and ask the questions, and or they have a service or resource or something for me, because they didn't even know where to start."
yeah, yeah,
And so I showed up here, and I'm like, here you go, I can help you.
yeah,
And it always translates into whether it's a sale or a new connection.
yeah,
Because I'm like, now I've met bankers, I've met financial planners.
yeah,
Like I meet all these different people, and those are like those are the best connections to have,
right,
is having people that are like they're kind of in your same kind of realm,
yeah,
where like I never thought about bankers. I don't know why, but I never thought about connecting with bankers,
yeah,
because bankers, they talk to business owners and they're like, and bankers are trying to tell business owners, you need to have your stuff in
yeah,
order if you're trying to come to the bank and get loans and all these. And I'm like, I didn't even think about that. And so just being able to kind of get out a little bit and like connect with people and just talk to them, because I guarantee you, like there are not going to be a bunch of bookkeepers and accountants in attendance. So,
Yeah.
and especially depending on the event, like
Hmm.
showing up for events that may not like you may not traditionally think that you would want to go to, but I'll go to any event. I don't even care. I'm like I'll just show up because if it's an event where business owners will be, I know that they're gonna need to talk to me
Right.
because every business needs a bookkeeper. So
Right.
yeah,
Right. Honestly,
yeah.
like that's the thing. I think you just need to like say your title, like or not like what you do. I,
Hmm.
so we were in. My husband's in the military, and there's like for every squadron you're in or office you're in, the spouses usually have like a group, and we all get together and we all plan things. And the last squadron we were in, the spouses were like, "We need someone to handle the money." They know I don't do accounting, but they know I have a background in accounting, and they're like, "That's good enough for us." You just like, and I'm like, I really don't, guys. Like, it's been a while, and they're like, "No, no, it's fine." Like, people need accountants. Like, you don't have to worry about the robots coming anytime soon because, yeah, like I think they're trying to find you. They just don't know where to look, and even when they do look, having that face to face connection, or just
Hmm.
hearing your voice. I mean, podcasting is such a personal way, a more personal way to connect with people than
Hmm.
Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. Yeah, killing it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, and I that has been the best marketing strategy for me.
Yeah,
And now, although am I doing enough pitching? And probably not, but like I've done enough at
yeah,
least to the point where people they'll still find me,
yeah,
and and then I also think about who knows what opportunities could present themselves as a result because you don't know who's listening.
yeah,
You never know. So yeah, I'm just like you have to put yourself out there and show up. And I know a lot of us don't like to do that. Like a lot of us like to kind of,
right.
and I think that's probably why a lot of times, within the accounting industry, it's like, well, how can I market in like the where it's like the least amount of, you know, communication and,
Yeah,
and, and connection with people because it's like I need to do it, but I
yeah,
don't really want to like connect
yeah,
because believe me, like after I go to an event, like I need a couple days to recover
yeah.
because it's like
Same.
it's a lot. But but seeing the results is that's where I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, this is what I actually need to focus on. Like
Hmm.
besides anything else, let me focus on making sure that I'm actually getting in front of people and showing up
Yeah.
because that's what they need
Right.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. I'm so glad you added that at the end because, yeah, I think I mean, getting out there, I think it's such a difficult thing to convince people that it works, but it does work. I mean, yeah. I'm the same way for marketing. That's where we see kind of the biggest ROI is podcast guests and when you can kind of get out of the bubble that you've created or
Hmm.
community. I don't want to say bubble, community you've created.
And you have to speak up. That's the
Mhm.
thing. Like even when you go to events and think like you have to speak up. So if there's opportunities for you to present your business or say use that opportunity because you just never know.
Yeah.
You like because as an example, so I went to a Dallas Black Chamber event once, and try just connecting, networking, all of that, and they when they found out what I did, they were like, "Oh, we probably need to connect." But I also kind of reached out and I was like, because they were doing like a workshop series on
Mhm.
different like business topics, and I was like, "Well, I am a bookkeeper, and this would be a great topic," and I just. Look, I said, hey, I'm ready and happy to share whatever I can, and so I ended up being able to present a workshop on bookkeeping for them, and of course, it was a wonderful book, a wonderful workshop. Everyone loved it, and they came back and they were like, let's make sure we stay connected because
Yeah.
there's probably other opportunities here. And they had another event that I went to, and like the day before, they were like, hey, would you like to speak on a panel? And I'm like, sure,
Yeah.
sure, why not? Because I'm just thinking another way to kind of get in front of people, get
Yeah.
that exposure, and also just be able to share because I don't think like business owners hear enough from us, like to actually hear experiences or what are clients doing right or wrong, and like the stuff they actually need to hear. Like
Yeah.
when I sit there and I'm like, this is what my clients are actually doing.
Yeah.
Like this is what's working. This is what you don't want to do. I think it kind of helps them also to understand that, oh, I guess I do need to pay attention to this. Oh, I guess I probably need to do my bookkeeping. I guess I probably, all the
Yeah.
things we say. I think it helps them to connect, to actually hear from someone who's experienced it all day, talking to business owners all day, and just being able to kind of connect to where they are
Yeah.
so that they can see, oh, okay, yeah, let me talk to you. Let me talk to you afterwards. Let me get
Yeah.
your card. Let's we need to get something together. So,
Yeah, yeah. It
yeah.
it's that awareness that they don't realize they have an issue. We so this last year, I did my bookkeeping and I was very angry with how much I was paying in transaction fees. And I just put a question out. I'm like, I have so many accountants around me. Why am I not asking? I'm like, what do you guys use? And a whole bunch of people recommended, I think it was Ignition and Anchor were like the top two. I checked out Anchor. I have saved so much money just from and I'm like, that's the thing. Like, I write this content for you, but I never like put it together. Like, look at, I should use my audience. Um, because you guys have saved
Yeah.
me money. But like that's the thing. Like I'm sure there's so many other business owners out there doing the exact same issues or having the exact same issue, and it would never even occur to them to ask that question because you think, oh, it's just like it's the cost of doing business. I can't. And that's the thing. When you find those people in those specific industries, ask them questions like how to save money with those specific topics. Because I mean, I know a million free tools for when it comes to marketing, and I'm sure accountants, you guys know plenty of tools for free and saving us money and yeah, yeah. It,
I mean, and I know even more tools and things just from being in different clients' books.
mhm.
I see things because of course, when I don't know what something is, I'm looking it up to figure out what, and they're like, "Ooh, what is this?"
Yeah,
So I'm learning things, and I'm like, maybe this is something I need, or maybe if it's if another client is asking about like an example, a client was asking about they need a way to like track, they're trying to track their time and like be
yeah,
able to like track what all these people are doing. And I'm like, I had a client who was using Harvest, and I'm like, what I've seen is wonderful. I said, here, try it out.
yeah,
And I would have never recommended it had I not even, known about it, or had a client who
yeah,
was actively working in it where I'm working in it too. So I
yeah,
get to see it. And she came back. She was like, oh my goodness. She was like, this is wonderful. She was like, thank you for recommending this.
yeah,
And I'm like, because those are opportunities too, just as, people working with clients on their books when they're
right,
trying to think of things like how can you help me a little bit more, like what can we do outside of just the normal stuff that we talk about.
yeah,
It's, well, maybe you're not being as efficient, maybe you need to make sure that you have your processes a little bit more streamlined, like
mhm,
just thinking about that, and then possibly offering solutions because you're like, hey, I have a client using this, so maybe you want to try this,
yeah,
just, and so giving them like a little bit of different perspective, especially when especially if you work with different clients in different industries. Oh my goodness, you'll see so you'll see so many different things. I'm like, I've never heard of this before, but let me look up and see what it
yeah,
is. So it's just, those are all opportunities too, because when your clients love you, they will sing your praises, they will talk about you, they will refer. And that's something that like my clients always talk about, is they're like, Misa is wonderful. It's like she's always willing to help and answer the questions, and I'm like, that's what I want to do. I do want to help you,
yeah,
and if that means I know a client is doing this and it's going to probably help you, I'll share that information too. Like
mhm,
if this is a tool that I think will help, hey, why not? Or maybe I have a client that's tracking their stuff this way, and I think it might be helpful for you to do it that way too. Like
yeah,
just picking up on things that clients are doing that's working, and when they're successful, and helping the other clients so that they can do the same thing, because
yeah,
I want everyone to win.
yeah.
That's the goal. I want you to win.
Right, right, man. I'm very jealous of like accountants because you guys can see like so much behind the scenes and like get all these
Hmm.
little hacks isn't a good word, but you get all these tips, all this education from just like doing your job. Um,
Yep.
Very jealous of that part.
Yep.
But yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Misa. It was always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
If people would like to connect with you, where can they do so?
You can find me on my website, so at perfectlykeptbooks.com, and same on social media, Instagram, Facebook, at perfectly kept books. So
Awesome,
yeah, that's where
awesome.
you can find me.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.